Hello guys. I'm just gonna start working now on the actual rig now. So I got this model here that I think I did this a few years ago, and I haven't played with him for a while. So this model is the one that I'm gonna use as a guideline for this tutorial series, so we can just rig the whole thing. At the moment, all I have now at the moment is just the mesh, and I have these eyes. So you got a group of the eyes, and we have the mesh, and they're all being scaled up to meet the Unreal criteria, which is one Unreal unit is equal to 1 centimeter. And because we are working here in centimeter, if you go here into the setting, go into settings here, and then make sure you work in centimeters, then we are meeting that criteria. Another way to check how tall this character is, if you go into the orthographic view and then check how tall it is by going into create, and we say measure tools, and we say distant tool, yeah. Click roughly here what it is, and all the way to the top, and this is 160 or 1.7 meter. So roughly you can work around between 1.7 and 1.8, not necessarily have to be 1.8, but this cartoon is sort of cartoony, this character, so we should be okay. I'm just gonna go and just gonna undo that, so I don't need that. I'm just gonna go W, so I got that, and we are ready to go. Now, the first thing what we're gonna do, we're gonna start placing obviously joints. I'm pretty sure that I have already, guys, given you the how to place joint, the theory behind it was what are joints, what they mean, why they are placed the way they are, how to reset or freeze the transformation, and all those aspects of the tools. But here we're just gonna start jumping in and then just put all the geometry, and then in this case the joints, and then start working on it. Right. So the first thing I'm gonna do is just gonna go here and I'm gonna start working on the arm. So I'm just gonna go here and just gonna place 1, 2, 3, and 4 joints here. And you might say, well, why fourth one? I'll tell you in a minute why is that. But we're gonna pretty much place one here in the elbow, so one in the elbow, one in the forearm, one in the wrist, and obviously one here in the shoulder. So normally what I do, I'm just gonna place them here in the straight line. So this is what I normally do when I work on this, just placing the joint. So going here into the rigging module, go into skeleton, and I'm just going to say create joint, and I'm just going to go and place it here on the side. So we're just going to go into, just going to go here into, I think it's X. So we got the elbow, just going to undo that. So we press X, we got 1 there, elbow. So this is going to be the shoulder, elbow, again to the wrist there. Let me undo this, now why doesn't want to work. So I'm just going to press, why doesn't want to snap. And let's do it again. X. Oh, we just press the shift, I suppose. So we click here, you press click first, then you press shift. Play another one, then we play another one. Then that should do it all in a straight line. So what we're looking for here is just trying to make sure that it's in a straight line. Doesn't matter what we're going to, because we're going to start placing it around in a minute. So normally what I do is, if I have, let's place them a little bit in here. So I think, oh right, is that why I didn't? Yeah, it was the magnetic tool. Oh, let me try something again, guys. So I'm just gonna do it again. The tool, now press X. Yeah, now it works. Yeah, now it works. The reason it didn't work before is because the magnetic tool here was on. So pretty much it was on automatically, so all I had to do is just click here and it will do it for me automatically, and because I was pressing X again to lock it, it didn't work. But just to let you know that, so I'm just gonna stick to what I can do is probably gonna stick to this one because they're all in a straight line anyway, so I can just probably redo it again. So at the moment they are like that, so I'm just gonna press so click here, so click elbow and the rest here. Okay, I'm just gonna need 3 of them. So just gonna go here, press W, get rid of this, and I'm just gonna start placing them here. the the thing that I had to consider now is that at the moment I'm gonna place the starting point here right there inside the shoulder. So I'm just gonna put it there, and I'm just gonna go into just rotate this. Rotate it until it matches, and then I'm just gonna press a W, and I'm just gonna start moving. So just make sure when you press W, click and hold, make sure that this is an object. Okay, so we're just gonna go and move this guy here. Yeah, maybe it's a bit too on, so let's out. So just gonna go here and do a little bit there. So we're looking for that join there, so we can probably move it back here as well. So, and we're gonna see, let's go and see the wireframe on shader, so we know where the elbow is gonna pretty much gonna be bending here, so we need to move him up a little bit more. So I'm just gonna take this and probably move it down like that. That should be it. Now I'm gonna bend this guy. Yeah, let's do it from the top view. This guy you can't see it because it's being scaled down, so you got the option just selecting the camera, go into the attribute, and then increase this. Just put 1 0 here, and if it doesn't, then see what happens. I think this is because it doesn't want to do it. Let's see if it put it this. This is the top view. Am I selecting the wrong one? So we got the top view. I think this one here. Let's type this to 1. It needs more. 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Anyway, doesn't matter. I think you have to do is probably select it from here, from the top, and then it's finding the clipping plane, but it doesn't want to update. That doesn't matter, just because I scale it up. Anyway, so I got that there, and just gonna go and move this guy here, right where the forearm is, and this guy obviously is going out a little bit, so I'm gonna just move it in. So roughly, yeah. So now if I go into the front, if I want to move this inward like that a little bit, then I have to probably bring it in a little bit like that. Yeah, and probably move him up. So put this guy right there, and probably move him up like that. There you go. And I'm just gonna go and move this guy in right where the wrist is. Let's check it from the top there. That maybe it needs to be open a little bit. Now, the key when you are placing the joints here is this. If you go through the front view here, you can see this straight line that goes from here all the way down there. Do not break this line. If you by any chance do this and then put that, when you put an anchor handle, which we're gonna see later on, the anchor handle pretty much is just a solving system that you put from here to here. If you break that from here to probably the end of the joint here, if you break that, then every time you move, for example, the arm forward, the elbow is gonna start flipping around like that, up and down. So it's always a good practice just to keep this line straight. So do not break this line that goes like that. And that is because if you see it from this side, you got an angle that goes here, here, and then all the way there. So you go a triangle here. This triangle here should be planar. Should be planar to all the 3 points that you have here. So you don't have things like, for example, obviously if you do that, then you break the line as well. If you do that as well, you break the line. So try to keep that line. So that's why we put them in this direction. We don't care about how we put it, as long as we start, rotating. You can rotate them with no problem, and move it in and out until you find the solution where everything should be. But do not break the line, because then otherwise you're gonna have issues with your anchor handles. Now, the thing that we have here is this is pretty much a good starting point. Now, the other thing as well, I think I moved this guy back way too down, so I'm gonna move it up a little bit here. The reason I have an extra joint here is that if you see the wrist, how wrist twist. So let's move it down. the wrist, a lot of rigs I've seen so far is that some of them make the wrist twist from this angle when it's not. If you have your arm, you put it in front of you and you start twisting, have a look and you can see that it twists from the wrist, but then there's always as well, like about when the wrist twists about 90 degrees, at least the forearm twisted about 45, half of that. So you should normally have the twisting from this side and not from this side, or a combination of both, but not just from this, because it doesn't look natural. Nobody twists the wrist from this without this moving. So this always moves. So because this always moves, that's where we're gonna twist the wrist from this angle, from this position. But that will be part later on when we do the rig. But in the meantime, just bear in mind that that's what we do. Now, so this is fine. Okay, so we got this. You have the option now to name it if you want. But look at this. We have this garbage here. We shouldn't have anything in here. Okay. So what we're going to do is you take these guys and then you go here, history, freeze transformation, and notice that this guy here, they will never clear out, because this position is local. This guy here represents a local position in space. So this point here is 7 units up to the left, to the right here, to the left of the x or the z axis, or the x axis, sorry, and 132 units in y, and minus 2.3 units in negative z, so it's behind the 0, 0 here. So this, you will never get 0 here. You only need to have 0 and 1 here, so it's not, hasn't been scaled. Okay, so like I said, you can just go here and start just, you know, getting your joints out and all that. So now at the moment, if you press W, let's get W, E for the rotation tool, and if you want to have a look here, if you want to see the rotation or the joint rotation here, you can go into modify, I think. So I think you have display, animation, no, I think it's displays, object display, yeah, I think it's transform, yeah, transform display, sorry, you click this open and you press local rotation axis here. So now you can see that that's your local rotation axis, and I got the tool here already, yeah, I got the tool here. So I'm just going to hide this. So if I select all these guys here, I can see that this is a local rotation axis. Like I explained to you before, guys, this axis needs to be, they all need to make sense. They all need to be in the same direction. So you got X going this, X going this way, all the Y's going up, all the Z's going one direction. Now, the reason I have the Z in one direction is that because this is how the arms are going to be twisting. The arms are going to be twisting probably up and down like that. Okay, so there are theories behind this, that there's something that happens when you don't place the joint correctly called the Gimbal Lock. And the Gimbal Lock is pretty much when 2 or 3, or in this case 2 axes matches in the exact same position or rotation, and then once that happens, then the system doesn't know which is X, Y, or Z. So I think if you want to test it, I think if you go into press W, or sorry, E, and click and drag, and you go here into the gimbal, so you can see, well, when I have the rotation here on the X, Z, that's fine. Look what happened when I rotate X or Y. You see how this guy keep going there, and then there's a point that these two guys match. When that happens, then if I'm going to rotate, then the system doesn't know if you're rotating X or you're rotating Z, because they are both in the same position. And that's what happened. Normally the effects of that is that you see the arms start doing some weird stuff, like flipping around. When you want to go forward, it goes backwards and so forth. So in order to avoid that, the rule of thumb is trying to keep the Z always as the rotation axis, or the when you want to move the hands or the arm forward and backward, or the legs backward and forward or something, then just try to keep that is the Z axis. Sort of similar to what you have here. The Y doesn't matter, the X doesn't matter, but as long as you got the Z in one direction, or that's the one that you're going to use for rotation, it should be fine. Just keep an eye on that. Not necessarily have to work, but it's something that you should do 100%, like we know, like a religion. You don't have to, but it's good practice always to keep the Z axis in one direction, and that will be like the main rotation direction, and then the X will be like the one that is twisting, and then the Y probably the up and down. So just keep that in mind. So I'm just going to select these 3, and then just going to go local rotation axis, just hide this stuff here. So anyway, so you got that stuff in there. So I'm just gonna go and show this. Now I got that guy and it's all freeze transformation is all okay, so that's fine. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna do the leg. So I'm just gonna go quickly here, and I'm just gonna go into the side view, and I'm just gonna go again. Sorry, I'm just gonna go again to the front, and I'm just gonna do again. I'm just gonna do one for the hip, one for the knee, one for the ankle, then the toes, the toe tip. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm gonna do 5 joints. Again, I'm not in this. You press X. I'm gonna try always to do it in this axis like that, so they draw similar to the whirl. So you're gonna press X and click. So we go. It's gonna go in the joint tool. I'm gonna press X, click here. So we go hip, knee, ankle, toe, toe tip. Okay, and they're all being snapped to the grid. So that should be all in a straight line. So what I can do is just gonna flip in here 90 degrees, or minus 90 in this case. And I'm just gonna move it down here like that. Again, do not break this line. By meaning that hasn't got a straight line, is that the line that goes from this point to this point, or probably to this point, doesn't matter because this is going to be independent. But from here, the knee and the ankle, it should be a straight line. So I'm just going to put the hip somewhere here. This is where it should be, somewhere probably there. You see physiologically that's where hips normally are, the bone outside there. So I'm just going to go hit down, and then just going to go and move this guy to the knee, roughly what I think it should be. And I'm just gonna go and open this guy a little bit like that. And I'm gonna take this guy now, and I'm just gonna move it down. Just remember that in order to go in the straight line the way it should be, and don't break the line, you press W and click and hold. Make sure that it's an object, okay? So I'm just gonna go down here. It should be right there. Still. Probably twist this around a little bit there. And now I'm gonna go into the front or the side view in this case, and I'm just gonna mount this guy there and put it. Should be it. Take this guy in now. So now you're seeing where this guy should go. Probably I need to move it down a little bit so it twists from this point. Then I'm just gonna twist this guy in like that. Yeah, now I'm gonna press the down key, go to the lower one. It's gonna go here, or with the toes I think it should be around here. Then I can twist this guy in like that. And I'm just gonna put this guy here a little bit like that. So it should look like that. Yeah, just remember that this guy here at the end shouldn't be a problem, because this guy normally, this toe here is an extra toe, because extra joint, because this is not going to be bound to the skin later on. So if I have a look what I have here, yeah, and I'm just gonna go here and press. I'm just gonna select all these three guys here, and maybe that one as well. And I'm just gonna go here, local rotation axis. And you can see they are all now the same position. You see the X is going forward, the Z is going forward, forward. You know. Now this guy here should be fine. This is going forward. It's just because it's twisting in that angle you cannot see it. But if you press here and you press history freeze transformation, now one way to test that everything goes accordingly, if you select this, select this, and you press shift and select that shift here, shift select that, that's fine. And if you do this, they're all going back. You see they all should go in the same direction. You see they're all going down. If I want to twist, they should all twist out, all should twist in. If I want to twist like that, something, it's not like that is going to happen, but you see they are quite uniform, so they are both working accordingly. And that is sort of the rule that you should have, that all these guys should go in the same direction. For example, this guy at the end here, it doesn't matter because this guy is not gonna, nothing pivots from this point. You don't move your nails, for example, the toenails. No, they don't twist. So, but the base of the toes, and they do. So that it should have that big uniform. So that's fine. So that complies with everything. So if I'm going here and select these three guys again, or all of them, and I click local rotation axis, so I get rid of that widget there. So I press cap, so I got that. So now I got that working. Again, what you have to do is just go there and start working on the on the spine. Okay. So I'm gonna. Did I freeze transformation there? Yeah, they're all being zero out. That's why make sure, guys, that this nothing before you bind the skin to the joint, nothing should be in here. This all should be zero. Remember that. If you don't do that, guys, you're gonna bite you in the butt, and then you have to go back and redo things, and you're gonna have to listen to my voice again a couple of times until you get it right. So just make sure that nothing is here. Just should be all zero out. Go one by one, guys. Those extra steps paid off at the end. So now we got the arm. We got the leg. Now I'm gonna go and show you what is it with the chest. Let's see how they go on the side. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to, like, again, this twist forward like that, this twist forward like that, the legs. Now the spine going forward and backwards. So you should go with the same methodology here. So I'm gonna go in the front again, and I'm gonna press here. I'm gonna press 1. In this case 1, 2, 3, and 4 joints. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press again. I'm just gonna go into the joint tool, and I'm gonna click in here, press X, so you snap to the grid. 1, 2, 3, 4. Press W. Now I have this. Again, I'm just gonna go and spin him. Oops, not that. I'm gonna spin him 90 degrees or minus 90 degrees. And we are going to move these guys down here. So, right, okay, so now this is when things start getting interesting. I'm just gonna spin around up like that, minus 180. So I'm gonna start like that. So just gonna move this guy here, and just gonna place him probably around there. Like this is like sort of like the spine, the center of the spine there. I'm just gonna put it there. So again, so just gonna take this guy, gonna move it up, and just guys rotate. Don't move the joint. You can only move the joint in that direction. If you do this like this, then you break the whole thing. Now with this one, you obviously you don't have to have a straight line because it's a spine. But if you do that, let me show you. If you do this here, then this guy, once you have it out, I think if you rotate here, you can see that you see this guy. If I rotate it here, this X is, or the X axis is not pointing towards the joint. That's what happens when you move him. So what you have to do, if you want to move this guy forward a little bit, all you have to do is just spin this guy a little bit more here, like that, and then you spin this guy and you yeah, and then we're gonna freeze transformation of that as well. So I think it shouldn't be a problem. So I'm gonna go there. I'm just gonna go here and put one in the chest. I'm just gonna take one there. I'm gonna put one here, and I'm just gonna move this guy there in the chest. That sort of should be it. Obviously we have to go here, and we're gonna put it right in the middle. If you wanna put it right in the middle, because the character is right in the middle here, it should be this 0 in the x-axis. Or you can just go here into the front and make sure that you snap this to, let's say, the x-axis here, like this, X, and snap. Middle click, drag. So I'm going to, okay, so I got the chest. I go 1, 2, spine there. Now, this is as well, you got room for debate. Some people they just go and connect this one. If you want a parent, I think I'm pretty sure I will have told you this by now. You press shift, you select the child, shift select this, and that will be the parent. You press B. Now this guy is the parent of this guy, so this is gonna be like the center of gravity. Now a lot of people do this. All you can do is create an extra joint and then create one to the top and then create another setup here that gives you something called the hip sway. So this one will allow you just to pretty much do this, and then the character will move the hips independently from the spine. That's something that you can do there, but normally what I do is in the past I done is just created this separately and then put another hip sway here and then parent constrain this to this one, but we're not going to do that. We're going to create an extra joint that is parent to this because we're going to try to put this guy into Unreal. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to probably just going to go and put this guy there. Just going to go and create another joint here. I'm just going to call this is going to be the Clavicle Join. I'm going to put it there. It's right there. It's good position. So this one obviously is being, I think, aligned with the world, but that's fine. You press this. Oops, let's move it. So we press child, father, P. Now you parent. Press this here. Press P, parent. So now this guy is child. So now when you move the shoulder, you can just do this and then move the clavicle. Now this guy at the moment is not aligned to this guy. Normally, when you created it, you could have created an extra one, then make sure that was your clavicle. But normally, because I'm gonna normally put a control here that I can just do up and down or back and forward, or just put an FK control, which we're gonna talk about that later. Then it's okay if you are just align it to this, because when you create a single joint, it automatically aligns to this. It should be fine. So the same goes here. So I'm just gonna duplicate this guy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this and I'm gonna press Shift P to unparent. Take this guy and press Control D to duplicate, and to make it different from the other one, so I can select it. I'm just gonna go here and press 2, so I'll make one big. So you can see that there's one on top of another. So this guy here is gonna take the little one here. That's gonna be like, this is gonna be the child. Shift select this. That's the parent. And then I'm gonna take the child here. Shift select this and press P. That's the parent. So now this guy is gonna be the child of this one here. You press child, shift father, P. So now this guy here, you see, is independent from there. So I have this sort of independent from the top of spine, so I can move the spine without moving the hips. That's pretty much what you're trying to achieve here. So you got clavicle, you got spines. I think, well, I'm gonna show you later what I did, but I normally put different riggers, they just put an extra joint here, so you can paint weight and then preserve the ribs cage. The same happened with the clavicle. If you put something, the scapula. If you put extra joint here, you can then create and mimic how the skin move around the scapula here, this bone. But I'm gonna add those there, but later on. So, and then the hand here normally is, you could probably duplicate this one, move it to right in the middle, and start getting joint for all this the hand. You can do that. But the neck as well is pretty straightforward. Let's do the neck. Let's analyze how many we're gonna do. So we get we put 1, 2, 3 the head base. I'm gonna put the head here. Normally I put 2 here in the head, or 3, and I'll show you later on why. 1 for the ear, 1 for the tip here, which is just good practice, but we're not gonna use. 1 for the jaw pivot, and then 1 for the jaw end here, because just remember that this here you got teeth here, and I'm gonna show you later on how to rig that, and you got eyes as well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop this here, because otherwise it's quite boring just to see me placing joints here. I'm pretty sure by then I have shown you how to do mirroring from one side to another. But actually let's do that now. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just mirror this guy here. So I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna call this left clavicle, and I'm just gonna join this guy here, and I'm gonna call this left shoulder. And we go here, left elbow, and we go here left let's call this forearm. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. We call this left wrist. Oops, my spelling today is pretty bad. It's Monday today, guys, so not enough coffee yet. So if I want to mirror this to one side, this is what we're going to do. So what you normally do is make sure that they all, name accordingly. Left. Don't put L, well, it's up to you, but if you put L underscore, and if you want to mirror to the other side, you say, hey, look for the word L, and then replace it with R, so left to right, then it will probably replace the L here and the L on the clavicle, the two L's, so you will be clavicle. So make sure that you have just for a whole word, or if you put left underscore left next to it, then it will probably find that with no problem. So right, if you go here, once you have this selected, we're gonna mirror from this side. So we go here into skeleton, you say mirror joints, I think it is, yeah, go into the options, and here I already got it set here. Look for the word left, replace with right. Mirror behavior, make sure that it's in behavior here, or mirror function, make sure in behavior. Orientation doesn't work. It does, you can do it, but then it will be the opposite to the other side, and I'll show you in a minute what I mean by that. So if the next one here, the mirror axis, quite important. Mirror across the axis is quite important because that's the one I'm going to tell you where you're going to mirror from. So if you see the little widget here on the side, you got the Y and the Z. So that axis is the one that cuts the model right in the middle, X. So Y and Z here. So you have to mirror from here to this side, and this is the axis that is drawn between the plane of Y and the plane of Z. So those two, when you put it together, one on top of another, then you will see that this is the mirror axis that you're going to use. So if you say look for left, replace for right, and you say apply, you see, wow, all done. Now you see it look for right. Now they're all according, so your right shoulder, right elbow, forearm, and wrist. So you save a ton of work. Now if we're going back to skeleton and we say mirror here again, just gonna go here and I'm just gonna undo what I just did. Now if I use orientation instead, and when I say apply, it seems like nothing happened, everything is fine. Now, if I select this guy here, let me hide this. If I select this guy here, and I'm just going to go into this section here, and make sure that, because you're in component mode, and then make sure that this is tick, local rotation axis, you can see it. And that was the alarm. Yep, testing on Monday, guys, you know that. Now if I select this, you can see that this guy has the X going in this direction, and it's copying exactly the same axis or local rotation axis that you have on this side to the other side, because that's orientation. They're pretty much copying one to one from this from the left side to the right side. Now when you're doing rigging, if you take these two guys, yeah, and you are rotating them, you say I want to rotate this arm to the top. Ideally what you want to do is, because some people, they just have some script that what you do is you take from the animation from one side of the joint, or in this case the control that we're going to create later, and copy to the other side, then it will be pretty much a mirror. So if I go, let's say I'm going to go up like this, okay, up, you see what happened? One's go up and one's goes in, and that is something that we don't want, okay? Because we have to mirror from one side to another the behavior. So when I have a control here that twists on the positive, and I want to do the same to the other one, it should be the positive as well. So if I want to recreate the mirror of this, then I have to twist one on this side. Well, I have to go here and say, okay, I'm going to take this guy here, move it up, and then I'm going to take, you see how this guy here rotates in positive? If I want to create the same, I have to rotate a negative, you see? So they all should be the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo all the stuff we did here. Yeah, I'm just gonna hide this, and then what I'm gonna do is, instead of orientation, I'm gonna use mirror behavior, and I say apply. So now when I select these two guys, if I want to go up, I go up. If I want to go down, I go down. If I want to go forward and back, you see? So they are both now in concordance. So if I select this and click there, you can see that they both have this guy is going down, but this guy is going up like this in that direction. So it should be all fine. You see? So that is the way that you should do this. Now I'm gonna stop here, and then I'm going to do the skeleton, and then come back, and then we do a walkthrough what joins I use and how I created all the mirroring, because I don't want to go and do all this stuff while you do that, while you just watch me do it, because it's going to be very boring. So that's it for now. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you in a minute. Bye bye.